Welcome to the video about the latest energy dynamics report in the Australian energy market for the first quarter of 2023. In this report, we can see how Australia's record levels of renewable energy helped bring wholesale power prices to an average of $83/MWh in the national electricity market, NEM, a tenth lower than the December quarter and two-thirds lower than the record average in June 2020. Rooftop solar output alone averaged almost 3 gigawatts for the March quarter, up 23% from a year earlier. And this increase contributed to a drop in operational demand in the NEM to an average of 14.38 gigawatts, its lowest since 2005. This increase in renewable output helped drive first quarter records in the number of dispatch intervals with negative or zero prices. Between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., wholesale electricity prices were negative in South Australia and Victoria almost 60% and 55% of the time, respectively. And over the same time, gas provided its smallest first quarter share of supplies since 2005, with overall gas demand in Eastern Australia falling 9%, with domestic consumption dropping to its lowest for any March quarter since 2016. For 1 half hour on March 5, Renewables supplied 65.8% of NEM generation, a record share for that quarter, and overall, the NEM saw emissions both in total and per megawatt hour decline to record lows for the first quarter of the year. But the pace of renewable energy's advance is not currently sufficient to meet Australia's emission goals, and the winter suspension of the NEM after a cold snap, power station outages and late-season heat waves all highlighted shortfalls in the grid. To try and deal with these shortfalls, the Federal Climate Change and Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, announced a plan to price cap gas and coal prices with the hope of lowering electricity future prices, which are a big factor on future energy bills. And in an effort to compensate households exporting surplus solar power to the grid, the NSW regulator, IPART, announced it would be lifting the price paid by as much as 89%, reflecting higher wholesale electricity prices. By the end of the March quarter, future prices for the mainland states and the NEM had increased, but were still lower than 1 year ago. In summary, by making better use of renewable energy sources, the NEM saw a decline in emissions both in total and per megawatt hour, reaching a record low for the first quarter of the year, while future prices for the mainland states and the NEM have stabilized and are lower than 1 year ago.